but I think it would be nice. All right, well, good morning. Thank you for coming. Everybody who's here and everybody who's online, we have a great group here. Well, this is the last Family Association General Meeting of this academic year. But we do still have some activities and events coming up over the next month or so. So we'll be talking about those today. And then we'll kick it off again in the fall. But for today, because I'm so terrible at this, I always forget introductions. So I'm going to do that because it's not appropriate for the last meeting of the year. Yes, please. Oh, yes, please. Would you start the recording?
Oh, yeah. It says recording, so.
That means I already started it. Okay, thank you, Andrea. So I am Kelly Voyages, and I am the president of Family Association this year. And my son is in 10th grade.
I am Margaret Cullen. I'm the treasurer. I have a middle schooler and so ask me anything.
Says I'm the secretary, and I have an 11th grader and soon to be a 5th grader.
I'm Tara Spoon. I'm the volunteer coordinator. I have a 9th grader and 6th grader.
And then our vice president, Josie, is not here today. But I don't know if she's joined us online by any chance, but I don't think so. The first thing I'd like to do is just jump right into some business with approving the March minutes. We had a link to that in the emails that we sent out. So if people have had a chance to take a peek at those. Can I get a motion to approve? Motion to approve. Is that you, Sabrina? Oh, no. Me. You, okay. And what was your name? Melissa. Melissa. I was looking at the wrong person. Just take it. Let's be on one end so I can just one good vision. Can I get a second?
I second it. And who's
Michelle.
Michelle. Who lays?
Oh, I was gonna say, you could just put a yes, but.
Yes.
Okay, so all those in favor of passing the approving the minutes and online? Thank you, Rebecca, for raising your hand. The only two people we can see, so thank you, Tara. Any opposed? All right. So approved. We've got a treasurer's report.
That's me. We are coming to the end of the year. I wanted to just kind of as a reminder and kind of as a way to wrap up to kind of again emphasize that the FA is not a fundraising organization. We don't collect dues from parents. We are fortunate that we get funded through the TGS budget. So we get a lot of money every year, about $20,000. We also bring in some money from things like ticket sales at homecoming and winter formal, and all of that money that we have, we are putting back into all the events and programs every year. So our goal every year is to really end at zero. We're not trying to end with profit. And, I mean, obviously, we're also not trying to end with too much of a deficit, but our goal is to really spend everything on the community. And we are on track for that this year. We've got 2 more kind of big ticket items coming up. The spring family dinner, which I'm sure we'll talk about again, and also our end of year faculty and staff appreciation. So those will be 2 more items to go into our calculations. But right now, it looks like we will hopefully get to that goal of just about zero, where we've spent everything that we could on bettering the community. And trying to do things for all of our students, for our parents, for our faculty.
Thank you. All right, we're moving through this quickly because we have our interim head of school, Amy Seeger, who's going to speak for a few minutes later, and then we also have Beth Cain coming in as our guest speaker. So I want to make sure that we get things wrapped up before she arrives, since she is taking time away from class and getting coverage so that she can come share with us. So. All right, next on our agenda is our vote. So in the spring, we vote on our executive committee for the following year. Although terms are 2-year terms, so when we vote today, assuming no one who gets elected changes their mind after next year, then we would actually have that executive committee for the next 2 years. And we did include a link to the slate of nominees in the emails that we sent. And if you didn't have a chance to look at that, I am up for president again next year. We have Tanis Thuen for vice president. And we have Margaret for treasurer again, Jill for secretary again, and then we have Zach. Introduce yourself if you would, Zach.
Hey, Zach, dad of Regan, an 8th grader. And that's pretty much.
So much. And Zach is looking to be our volunteer coordinator starting next year. So now we can vote on everybody individually, or we can just do it as a whole slate if you guys are agreeable with that. I don't know if there's any issues with that. So well then can I get a motion to, I guess, pass our slate and approve our executive committee?
I wish to approve the slate of nominees as presented.
Thank you, Carla.
I second.
Thank you, Joanna. All right, all those in favor of the slate of nominees that I just presented, if you would raise your hands. Folks online. All right, any opposed? Thank you again, Tara. Anybody opposed? Online?
Any thumbs down?
Yeah. Any thumbs down? Okay, thank you. Well then. Here you have your executive committee for next year. You'll find out what you're really in for.
We're crazy.
Okay. So for one of the things that Margaret just mentioned is our volunteer coffee, which is a volunteer appreciation event that we do each year. And that is scheduled for next Wednesday at this same time out on the front lawn. We like to appreciate all of you folks who have helped out throughout the year. We also invite folks who are interested in learning more about what volunteer opportunities are available, because it's a great time to actually not only talk to the folks that are on the executive team, but also to talk to the people who have volunteered this year and get a sense of what that's about and how valuable that is. It's a great way to meet other families. So, so if you haven't volunteered this year, but you are interested in volunteering potentially next year, you want to find out about what that's like or some different opportunities that might exist, then feel free to come to the coffee next Wednesday at 8:30 on the front lawn. And next year, I had already spoken to somebody, I know people work and they can't always come at this time, so I really do appreciate you guys taking time out of your schedule this morning. And next year, I think we'll try and do, we'll be looking at doing those alternating meetings again, so that we'll have some meetings in the evening on Zoom, not just in person in the morning. And we'll also look at moving that volunteer appreciation to a different time, so other people can come that can't come in the mornings. All right, we do have a bunch of fun events coming up. Do we have committee chairs here? Do we have any committee chairs online? Okay, well then I'm just gonna jump in and say, I know that Fernanda, who is our performing arts for drama for the theater, she could not be here. She's the chair for that. And she wanted to make sure that everybody knew that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is coming up. It's running April 24th, 25th, and 26th. It's at 7 o'clock on the 24th and 25th.
Family Association meeting.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Somebody? No, it's just somebody.
Oh. So it's at 7 o'clock on that Thursday and Friday, and then it's at 2 o'clock on the Saturday. And you can get tickets online now. There is a sign up that has been sent out to the families that are involved in that production. But if other families want to help out, there are some opportunities to volunteer and help out with snacks at intermission or bringing snacks or food for the performers because they have to stay through dinner time. There are orchestra members whose schedules dictate that they come later in the evening, so the kids don't get a chance to come and eat dinner. So anyway, there's a little sign up. If anybody's interested in that and has not received it but wants to help out, feel free to let us know and we'll get you that signed up. Come on in. Come on in. Let's see, is Maggie here? Okay. Maggie is our chair for, band and orchestra. And I hear a ton, and I think that you just admitted. No. I feel like I should be checking. There is a choir and piano concert, on April 30th at 7 p.m. And then there is a band and orchestra concert on May 4th at 1 p.m. That's on the weekend, that's why it's at 1 o'clock. Is there anybody here that wants to say anything further about the arts events that might have kids involved?
I do know that the May 4th event for the band, because of May the 4th be with you,
We'll
have a lot of stories for music.
Yeah.
They're relevant.
Have you been here in practice?
I have not.
Hearing their scarf, I would have heard the same thing.
Yeah.
Great, I've heard in theory, no music. Comes home by the next.
Oh, yeah.
Monday.
Yeah, I love. The cello, yeah, that's like the bane of my existence.
Yeah, it was a good choice.
We have a free family dinner coming up, and I think Tanis will talk about that.
Yes, that's coming up May 8th from 5 to 6. This is a free event. I like it. It's an amazing event. It's kind of the close to our bigger events. It's a good way to socialize with other parents, and there's several things going on. Like it runs kind of quick. People kind of eat and then they scatter to the upper school for photography exhibit and sale. They have an academic expo. I guess it's a middle school expo. The jazz band will be playing right behind where dinner is being served. There's a dance performance after dinner. The Young Writers Club will be there. The National Honor Society exhibit and sale. So there's a lot going on. I feel like this is a good way just to, hey, how was your year? And we're looking forward to coming back next year. You're on the committee. Do you want to say anything further?
We chose Italian food because we feel like that's a crowd pleaser where we can have
Yeah.
carbs that they can like, vegetables and salad. For the tables, I'm doing the tablescapes and we're gonna kind of play into the Italy since we're saying goodbye to one of our teachers. And so anyway, so the tablescapes are gonna be Italian looking. So we're gonna have like green and lemons and golds, and it's just gonna be really great.
Yeah.
So everybody can make it.
And this is also an opportunity to kind of wish, those teachers that are leaving a farewell and good luck and all that. So please try to come. Make sure you RSVP.
Yes.
So we have an accurate.
This, that part is important.
Yes, there was an invitation that went out. I don't remember the exact date, but it went out
Last week?
I think a week
Yeah.
ago, perhaps a little bit more.
Yeah.
So make sure if you'd like to come to RSVP, so we make sure that we have enough food. And the RSVPs are due by the 22nd, I believe.
Yes.
And this is for all families and all family members, so upper school, middle school, parents, all siblings, everybody. Thank you.
And it's free.
It's free. Well, somebody's paying, but. It's free to all the families, no cost involved.
That's right.
And it's also a great showcase of all the things that the students have been doing, because there's so many different things to look at between the photography and the art, and the dance and the jazz band. And so it's a great way for all the students to showcase their work as well. I don't have an update from athletics, so if there's anyone here or online that has anything about athletics to share.
They're happening, I think.
They're happening.
I always get a run in the track there at this track meet today.
Oh, nice.
They did really well last week, although it was
really cold and windy and, yeah, it was out in Vale last week.
Oh,
and it
okay.
was, you know, in the 50s and wind and.
Wow.
It was-
And today is gonna be really.
Yeah, my son said I'd rather be 92 than 50 and wind.
Okay.
So you don't know about the athletic banquet either?
My understanding is there is no athletic banquet, no overarching athletic banquet. It was something that was being done per sport.
Oh, I see,
Yeah.
okay.
I think the other one, from my memory from Angela, was when there are those students who have. I'm not sure what the definition is, but-
Sports for all seasons.
Yes, it's to recognize that we didn't have.
It's almost like the initiative. Gotcha.
But they should do something for track, but you know, like.
Individual,
after
yeah.
track.
Right, individual coach, I think, is
Yeah.
what who will organize that. That makes sense. And class reps. Who do we have? We have things going. Carla, do you want to talk about anything that might be going on?
Sure. So we just had a spring family hangout for the 6th grade at Fort Lowell Park. We had about 35 people show up. It was a beautiful day and it was intended to be just completely unstructured, potluck style, bringing your favorite snack and parents get to meet and hang out and the kids do what they do, which is climb trees and throw balls around. And it was fun. I think the families that showed up enjoyed it. We were there for about 2 hours. So Teresa, the other 6th grade parent rep, and I are trying to brainstorm an end of year kind of gathering. So I'm probably going to send out an email to families this week, just thanking them, getting availability, and just a sense of what they might want to do, whether something free or something where we go to a place and everybody pays for themselves. So if you're a 6th grade family, just look out for an email for that.
Thank you. Just say, is the ninth grade reps? We're planning the 9th grade end of year gathering, and the racket club will let us use their facility for free because we have such a good relationship with them, because Coach D takes the tennis team over there. And so the gentleman is so incredibly nice. Like I talked to him, he was so excited. I was like, okay, you guys can have the area for free, and it's usually $20 per person, but since you're with the Gregory School, $15 per person, and they'll do like a taco bar, like whatever you want. And it's a really neat space because kids can kind of go play basketball or tennis or swim, yeah. So just so you know.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Sally's online, she's our 5th grade rep, but we're also texting each other. Okay, so Sally said 7th grade is having the party on May 5th at her house. So that's for 7th grade, and I'm sure, knowing Sally, you know, swim, sandwiches, all the fun stuff. 5th grade end of year party is actually gonna be at Skyline Country Club on Friday, May 2nd. It's an early release day, so we're doing it at 5. And we're doing a full party style, and we actually got a Gaga ball pit because the 5th graders are obsessed with Gaga balls. So we're gonna use some of the funds to buy the Gaga ball pit, and then we're gonna donate it to the school just to have an extra one. But yeah, the Gaga ball, I don't know who came up with that, but that has been such a great way to unite that class. It's awesome. So yeah, Gaga ball and swimming for.
Joe, what day is that? Sorry.
Oh, May 2nd. You're on. That's for 5th grade. So, and they're a really sweet group of kids. They really, I think most of them didn't really know anybody. I mean, Elsa knew, my child didn't know what's coming in. And she's made so many friends, and they're also just so excited to have more friends come in next year. So it's been a really great year for 5th grade.
Thank you, Gemma. Any other grades, anything going on for 8th grade that you're aware of, Zach? All right. Any other grades? Anybody else online for other grades?
Someone raised
Rebecca, are you gonna talk about grad night? Or you're muted?
Unmute, sorry. For senior class, we spent our year-end funds on Monday for ditch day, and they all came here and swam and hung out and had pizza. So that's what we did.
Thank you. Well, and
Ditch day, I like that.
you know what, I think Rebecca, are you or Darcy gonna talk about grad night?
Um,
shouldn't get that.
Darcy is in charge of
especially young
volunteers,
stuff.
so I
Instead,
love
we
it.
should get
That.
fish and the seaweed and make the dashi to make it yummy.
You have somebody,
Who has-
you need to, okay, never mind. Okay, well then I will hand it off to Darcy then, if you would like to talk about grad night volunteers.
Sure, thank you, Kelly. So senior graduation is the evening of May 21st, and a group of parents is actively involved in planning grad night, which is a traditional celebration that's both fun and safe for our seniors. We take them by bus to several venues throughout the night, ending with a breakfast. And although there's staff at each location, we also need parent chaperones. And typically, our students would prefer not to have their parents there. And so we ask parents from other grades to serve as chaperones. The idea is that you do it now, and then when your child is a senior, someone will be there for your kid. And the itinerary is different each year, and we keep it a secret, but there's a lot of fun things lined up. And I think, like a lot of school volunteer opportunities, it can be a really fun way to meet other people, to meet some of the students, even though they are graduating, and also just, to experience the unique culture of our school. And so we hope you'll consider signing up. There's a link to the sign up in today's meeting agenda. And I do plan to send out an email to the parents, grades 5 through 8, probably tomorrow. So if you feel more comfortable, maybe you can convince a friend to join you. But as you all know, we're a friendly community, and we encourage you to sign up for a shift. There are 3 to 3.5 hours each shift. So that's it. And if you have any questions, I can field those, or feel free to reach out.
Do you have any questions, Beth? No? Anybody online? No? Okay, great. Thank you, Darcy.
Thank you.
And as Darcy said, in that agenda that we sent out in the emails, there is a link to sign up, so you can take a look at the slot there. And then lastly, before we have Beth talk about portfolios, thank you for coming. I was going to hand off to Amy Seeger, our interim head of school. And did you want to talk about the commencement ceremonies, or do you just want me to list them? I didn't know if you wanted to mention that yourself, or if I should just list them so people.
You can bring that one, do that, then I'll do.
Okay, I just wanted to mention that there's 5th grade promotion on May 20th at 5 o'clock. There's an 8th grade promotion on May 21st at 10 a.m. And then there's the upper school commencement on May 21st at 6:30 p.m. Did I get all those right? I pulled them from the calendar, so. Sure, those are right. All right, okay, well then I'll
Sure, so, a couple of things, and we've already talked a little bit about the family dinner, that art showcase day, the evening. We are also hoping that people will come in numbers just to be able to say thank you and farewell to those departing and retiring faculty. And we plan to put out a basket if you would like to bring a card, or your student would like to make a card for their teacher. I think that's, as educators, those are really meaningful to us when kids write things or families write things about, when the impact that teachers make on their time here. So that's going to be also, there's nothing part of a program that evening. It's just social time. So hopefully many of the faculty will be here that evening too, so we can give them a nice send off. Thank you to the class reps, the grade level reps. Those emails that you send out are really impactful. They've helped tremendously. Those, we've worked a lot on trying to get the percentiles up this year for participation in the annual fund, and that's really made a big difference. And thank you for that. And then, I want to thank certainly the board, FA, and just how much you support the school. I mean, it really means so much. All your supportive events, all those little things that may seem little are really huge to us. Snacks sustain us through some days that are long. And so again, just please know you're appreciated. And sometimes it may seem like a thankless job, but we really do appreciate you too. And A little shout out to Darcy and Rebecca and the work that you're doing with seniors. Darcy has stepped up to help with the senior gift, which is a way that the senior class gives back to a fund that supports professional development for faculty for the years that students have been in TGS. So it's kind of their way of thanking them, and that goes into a fund that teachers can take advantage of for future training. And then Rebecca, I know you guys have worked really hard on this event. So it's, you know, keeping seniors safe is such an important part of that event. And a lot of schools have gone to that, but certainly when you take them from place to place, you know where they are. Like, you're not letting them drive, and nobody checks out early, and it's that last chance for them to be together. But it's nice to know that when they go off, they're gonna be in good hands. So thank you for that work too. So, and thank you to everybody that joins online. I know it's hard sometimes to get here, but even that, just connecting online is really a show of support for the school. So thank you.
Thank you, Amy. All right, well, if we don't have any questions or anything else that needs to be raised, and I'll make sure we don't, then we have, Beth's presentation is in the background there. If you can share that, it's right there. And then can you share your screen? Once you get that. I know it's that mouse pad is a little awkward.
No, just. What are they?
Where did it go?
This one? Oh, geez.
There.
There you go.
Well, Zoom's right here, so.
Yeah, if you can go to that, so you can share your screen.
Yeah.
Can you make that?
Here, I'll
that
make
big
you do
again?
it, because I don't know how to run that.
You back.
Is that, is it under more?
I think it's under share.
It's right.
Oh, there it is.
Where's your?
Okay, my question will be, okay,
Just share it. So.
like, where's their share?
You just go share it, and still prompt for it next time. Okay, great.
Good, okay,
And now where's the?
now it's over here?
Yeah, it was,
There.
There we go.
Then how do we make it bigger? So,
Up to go to slide.
okay.
Are we good?
Ooh, yeah.
Do you want
This is her trackpad. I'm see if I can bring this down. So it's.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, this is a little.
Can you grab it where it says your screen sharing?
Yeah.
There we go.
go. Okay, no, I don't wanna do that. Okay.
No,
We gotta move that. Okay.
Right, there you go. I mean, that's a little bit. I'll get it out too quickly.
Can you drag it down?
You can drag it.
I don't know how to drag on that thing.
There you go.
So,
Wait, I got it.
There you go.
Go.
Well, thank you very much for having me today. I'm Beth Cain and I teach 8th grade English here at the Gregory School, for those of you that haven't met. And thank you. I want to echo what Ms. Seeger said about your support. We really appreciate it very much. All those little snacks in the lounge are huge. We very much appreciate the support of the Family Association. One of the other hats that I wear here at the school is I'm on the Exploration Board and Design team. And my job this year has been as an Exploration Advisor. And what my role is helping students, specifically in 8th, 9th, and 10th grade, to develop exploration portfolios. So Kelly very kindly asked me to come to the meeting today and just kind of talk to you all about what that is. So our exploration portfolios are basically just a tool for students to track, record, assess their extended multi-week explorations. So if you've been listening to your student as they come home and talk about their exploration experiences, in the morning, they have 4 explorations total. In the morning, their E1 and their E2s are what we call multi-week. So they are 4-week sessions where a teacher can really dive deep into a topic and a student can really learn something more in depth. And then in the afternoon, our E3 and our E4 explorations are what we call singletons. They only last for 1 week, and they're a little bit more hands-on, maybe a little bit more interesting, fun, experiential, whereas the E1 and E2 are more of a deep dive. So the students are getting the experience of both. In the morning, they're going to really focus on something. In the afternoon, they're going to try some new different things. So the portfolios are a way to keep track of those multi-week explorations. So students can really look at what have I been learning over the last year in these long, extended, deep dive sessions. And so my job is to just help students, help students, look at that. So anyway, I just kind of went through that, but the purpose of the explorations portfolio is basically to track their progress and their growth and their learning. So as they enter each multi-week exploration onto their portfolio, they can reflect back and say, oh, I remember doing that chemistry of cooking. That was really good. I learned a lot. It's a highlight of what they've chosen. And it's a journal or a record of experiences. And these are multi-year portfolios. So each year they're going to be adding to it so they can go back and reflect and say, oh, wow, when I was a freshman, I did this and I really enjoyed it. And it's also an opportunity for them to be accountable. So they're not just coming and not really being part of the learning process, but they can reflect back on what they've learned, and they know that they're going to be entering this into a portfolio that other people are going to see. So it's a measure of accountability as well.
To minimize that, so that it's not on the other hand.
Okay, let's see.
Sorry to interrupt
No,
you. I
that's
just
okay.
thought that this
That's
is
a good
one
idea.
There we go.
Okay.
A little bit less.
So this is my role. I talked about it a little bit, but basically I'm guiding and assisting students in choosing their explorations. This is really more of what their advisor does on a day-to-day basis, but I've been coming in and visiting the different advisories through the school year and just talking to students about, look at your portfolio, be intentional about your choices. If you notice that you're choosing a lot of explorations in the STEM pathway, and I'll talk about pathways in a minute, maybe that's a clue that that's something that you're really good at. And maybe this is something that you have an interest in that you want to pursue. So I'm doing that with our upper school students. With our middle school students, we're encouraging them to just sample lots and lots of different explorations. Find out what you love. What's your passion? Try something new this week. You signed up for farm for every week in the school year. So that's sort of my role, to check in with students and make sure that they're keeping up with adding their explorations to their digital portfolio. And then also I'm working with advisors to make sure that they have the information so that they can guide students in their intentional choices. So that's the role that I've been playing this school year as Exploration Advisor. And I wanted to show you, because I'm kind of excited about these. I wanted to show you a couple of portfolios that students have been working on. So if I can get this open underneath here.
And I tested the link to make sure that they worked.
They work.
Do you want to drag it again out of the way?
Yeah.
If you go to the green part of it.
Okay,
your
and
screen
then
share,
drag this. We should.
And then click it. We got
Put
it.
it, Kelly. This is the screen.
Okay, I'm just doing it in a.
There we go. Okay, and then can you open the upper school portfolio for me since you have the magic touch? So thank you, Alexi Dana, who allowed me to share her portfolio. Let's see, it needs to be published. It didn't publish properly. There we go. Okay, got it. So Alexi is a sophomore, and oh, this is not working well.
You know, I published again.
There we go. Publish again?
Yeah,
Okay.
she must have changed something.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, it worked yesterday when I tested.
Right, and I looked at it this morning, so, this is actually a draft, but that's okay, you can kind of get an idea. So just ignore what's over here on the right panel. Basically, what we're asking students to do is on their homepage to talk a little bit about themselves. So she's got a nice little information blurb about her, and then to talk about, to post on the homepage the individual pathways. So let's talk about that for a minute. So each exploration, we're asking teachers to identify a specific pathway or topic that exploration would fall into. So when your child comes home and says, I'm taking a wellness exploration and an arts exploration and humanities, what that means is that we're just trying to codify, to organize the explorations into these different areas of study. And what that will do, the goal is, as students progress through their career here at the Gregory School, when they graduate, then they'll have this portfolio of all these multi-week explorations that they've taken. And the different pathways will hopefully show them one area of expertise that they've been developing. So as they're choosing an exploration, is it STEM, does it have to do with science, technology, engineering, or math, or is it arts? And after a year or two or a few years, my job is to say, let's take a look at your portfolio. Looks like you really have some interest in the arts. Is this an area that you would like to focus on in the future? So as they progress through the exploration program, it's very intentional, and so they can build upon it and use it when they're seniors to think about where they want to do, what they want to study in college. So I've also asked the sophomore class to add to their portfolio a web page that says senior internship. So another goal is that these explorations, as they're experiencing all these different things, it will open up ideas of what they might want to do for their senior internship, which will happen their senior year. But they're going to be thinking about that in their junior year. So the sophomores need to start working towards that. Yes.
What is a senior internship?
The senior internship, and Ms. Jacobs, I'm going to let you handle that because you know a little bit more about it than me.
So in the upper school, we have required service hours every year. They start at 10 hours for freshmen, sophomores, 15 for juniors, and then senior year, they're required to do a 60-hour internship to graduate. And that internship can be done the summer between junior and senior year if they want, or during their senior year. And we really encourage students to explore their passions and something they might want to do later. So sometimes there's an internship that's done on campus. If you ever see the butterfly mural, that's right behind in the science courtyard. That was one of our students who wanted to pursue the arts, who worked with Ms. Carlson all year to do that. Most of the time, those internships are done outside of campus. Some of the seniors will use some of their Friday time to go to their internships. And in fact, this Friday, the seniors at the end, they share an internship portfolio and they do a presentation at the end. So that's this Friday. All of our seniors will be presenting about their internships during explorations.
And when they're applying for college, is that something that they put on their applications?
And it also shows up on their transcript.
Yeah. So explorations is a great way for students to build towards that experience in their senior year. So Alexi has this added, and next year when she's a junior and starts to think about what do I want to do for my senior internship, she can actually add that experience here in her portfolio. So each one of these pages that she has put onto her portfolio has the explorations that she's taken. So she's been adding these diligently with nice little cool images and descriptions of the exploration, and she'll continue to do that through her junior year and through her senior year. So this is just one example. I'll show you a middle school portfolio. And I took Carter's. So Rebecca, there's your wonderful son. This is Carter's. Yeah, I can admit that. I can do that. The 8th graders started this process in January. So they have just a few little explorations entered. So Carter has entered, he's been in middle school yearbook a couple of times. And so he's still working on developing his webpage. But as starting students in middle school helps bridge that transition between middle school and upper school. And it helps them start to see that explorations aren't just something that we just do on Friday instead of going to class, but it's really something that's building and helping them identify where their strengths are, what are their passions, and how is this going to help me in the future, and how can I show colleges what I've done. So I wanted to show you some feedback that we've gotten. Oops, other direction. Ms. Eskison sent out in the fall an email to over 100 different college admissions officers around the country and sent a link to one of our students' actual portfolio in progress and asked, honestly, as an admission officer, would you open this? Would this be helpful to you in deciding whether to admit this student to your institution? And she got a great deal of responses, which was good because it was a busy season for admissions officers. They were busy looking at files. So for them to take the time to read your email was pretty significant. And overwhelmingly positive responses. So I just put a sample of a couple up there from big schools like the University of Colorado Boulder to small liberal arts colleges like Colorado College, they all were very, very positive about it. And even some of the institutions that said, no, I would not have time to look through this, most of them also said, but I think it's a great idea and I wish I did have more time to look at this. So depending on where your child decides they want to go to college, this could be a super helpful tool for them to really introduce themselves to a college and to show that Friday, 20% of my education, I spent doing this significant work in Explorations, and I really focused on this pathway or this kind of work. So that's our goal for the portfolio, and hopefully you will see, your child will see the benefit of that when they become senior and as they move on to their post-high school experiences.
How do we see our kids' portfolio?
You will have to have them share that.
I've been begging.
You said why?
No, I'm not gonna comment on it. I just wanna see what it looks like.
And to reassure you too, we're doing these portfolios on Google Sites. So it is a live website. And when they click publish, it only publishes to Gregory School users. So it does not go out onto the World Wide Web. When they're ready to publish it for a college admissions or a job or something like that, then they can change the permissions so that they can be seen actively by everybody else. But right now it stays within our community, so it's very safe and very secure.
Currently, it's only our 8th, 9th, and 10th graders that have portfolios. So next year, the 11th graders will then have portfolio and continue to build.
Is there any way, like, my son keeps signing up for the same things?
Yes.
And I don't want him to sign up for more gardening, because he does it twice a week, and
Yeah.
more stagecraft, because he does it all the time. And his response is, well, there's nothing interesting. Is there any way that we can see, because I know it goes Tuesday, or they do it, it's their thing.
Right.
But is there any way as a parents, because like, there's nothing interesting, I don't believe that.
No, I mean, yeah, there's a lot out there. This may be that his interests haven't gone enough for some of those other things, and that would be something.
He likes to do CC.
And that would be something his advisor could help him with. But to answer your question, that is a goal that we would like for Power School. We've been really struggling with the Power School platform this year in allowing students to view the exploration descriptions in real time as they sign up. And that used to be a feature. And as we grapple with the program, we're hoping that we can reinstate that so it would be easy for you as a parent to view that too, because then it would just be a matter of looking at it with your child.
Yeah, that was helpful, because we can go through and kind of like, oh, try this.
Exactly.
Yeah, go make tea, see what it's like, right?
Exactly. So we really looking to have that feature back, but that's a tech issue that's above mine. Great.
Yeah, like you said, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure there are weeks where everything fills up or whatnot, but no.
Yes.
That just,
Yeah.
So what if at the end of the year, what if we had a little committee that put together a little exploration fair? That would go along with the family night gathering where we could just have kind of volunteers there talking about a lot of the great explorations that have been provided, what we're looking forward to providing next year, so that way we can really, you know, celebrate that unique quality about Gregory School. I mean, what a brilliant path. So let's find a way to celebrate it in person. Maybe, you know, if somebody, you know, we could start small next year, or if we wanted to do a little prototype, you know, I'd be happy to volunteer and set up a table, but I don't want to put more pressure on teachers at the end of the year for something that's just a month away. But maybe for next year, that would be something we could look at and really promote it through the family community as well, and have those conversations where it's like, this is a pathway to this. I think it's really great to consider exploring this next year.
You could also ask teachers, if we do an art portfolio, oftentimes kids toss their art in the trash as they walk out. Okay, this was.
no, I mean, you know, or photographs of the cooking or.
Yeah, people like to see the results, the fruits of the labor, you know, and this is a hard thing to really even quantify. I think when people aren't experiencing it firsthand, and I know as a parent, I'm like, what do you do on it? And he'll tell me, but like, you know, I think that's part of the teenage code and it's close to the test. So, yeah.
I love that idea. I'd be happy to help you. with that.
Me too.
You guys are hired, go for it.
I've been doing a 4-part exploration with my dance company. We did an art with seniors where we were bringing elders from memory care, who I teach every week, over here to work with kids and create art together and do some creative movement. And I realized last Friday was our 3rd session, and at the end of the session, I was like, I didn't take any pictures, you know, because I was in the middle of it, and but if there's some way to document so that you have something to show. I'm definitely gonna take pictures of all the collages.
I actually
Usually 3 hours. I like something for Friday.
I had just said, power, it sounds like Power School kind of been a headache this year, but I know that last year, I could see how many STEM explorations my kiddo had chosen and arts explorations.
Yes.
Is that part of the like working through the technology things? Cause
Yeah,
I
this
found
is
that to
all-
be really helpful.
One of the things that we've really almost outgrown our database. It's not really, the program has been so good that it's not been able, the tech piece has not been able to keep up with the progress of the program. So we actually have some outside people that have been trying to develop some things that will help support that. But that's been the biggest challenge. And so just about when we think we've got something right, it's like, oh, that didn't work, you know, but they keep going back and you know, we've got some really good people trying to make this more efficient for us and for students. So hopefully that's going to get better too.
I just wanted to add something about.
So go ahead.
About your idea, I think it's great. And going back to taking a little bit of the weight off the teachers, maybe we can even ask the students to share with us, like what are your top 3 explorations from this year?
Yeah.
And we can either have them like talking or showcasing a piece of their work or some writing, and then other students seeing from their peers' point of view. So it's not just all resting on the teachers and the explorations that they did this year.
So I see you have an interest in that committee.
Yeah.
No, just, I mean, I think everyone is resonating around the idea of communicating what's happening in these explorations out to the community, and whether it's, I mean, I was thinking, you know, the weekly newsletter, could there be like a little blurb, like highlight, spotlight, one exploration each week?
There's often a lot of pictures.
Yeah.
Alicia does a great job of grabbing some
And
exploration photos.
And I think that's great, and it's nice to see what's happening, but just like a little bit more, cause like, my son, what did you do today? Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you need more than just the caption that describes what exploration was happening and even a picture, but more in depth.
A little bit more in depth, or even from a student's point of view, like allowing a student to write, I mean, a paragraph, we're not talking like a 5-page essay here. Just like, this is what I did this week and it was really exciting, and even if my kid's not telling me, at least I can get another child's.
Do the kids get to feedback on do they get to say whether they enjoyed it, so it determines whether or not it was offered again or not?
We have had some feedback opportunities for the students with surveys. Last year, we had like an exit ticket that students completed each time, but there was inconsistent participation in students doing the exit ticket. But we definitely do send out Google Forms. I did a survey about favorites. What would you like if you could offer an exploration? What would you like to offer? Got a great response on that, and we presented that to teachers so that they could pick up on certain ideas.
I mean, I only hear, of course, the bad ones.
Sure.
Nothing, and then, like, he took a 4-week cooking class and there was no heat involved. And he's like, that's not cooking. You know, and so whatever it was mixing.
No bake.
Yeah, it was a no bake, you know, and it said cooking, and he was all. No, it wasn't even chemistry.
To piggyback off the idea of including, you know, more than just a little caption in the newsletter, maybe highlighting some upcoming explorations as well. So that it's something that as a parent, we can say, oh, hey, there's this exploration coming up. Can you tell me what you know about it? I think that would be nice, because I feel.
Did you even know?
Right.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
we've had some feedback sessions too with entire grade levels, especially in the upper school. And then last year was small groupings of students, and that's actually where the multi-session exploration idea came from. It was from our students. Many upper school students said we want to dig deeper. So we enjoy the one singleton explorations, but we want to spend 4 weeks with the teacher. We want to dig into things, and that's how that began.
Like I said, I mean, he's a teenager. I mean, you're like, you hear, and you're like trying to hear beyond.
Well, and same, maybe part of this committee could do something like that, you know, reach out to the teachers and with the same sense of taking off from them and just kind of finding out, you know, give me some information that can then be included in the newsletter. With information, maybe a past one, excuse me, maybe interviewing one of the kids and what did you like, how was it, and talking about a future one, kind of like a little snippet with 3 different aspects past, from the point of view of one child, and then what's upcoming, you know, and then we get a little bit of everything without knowing everything, but we explore that. Taste, exactly.
So yeah, the committee could do the work of putting that together and just submit it.
Exactly.
For publishing in the newsletters. We're not adding work.
Beth, could you talk a little bit about, I heard you mention a few times, like the role of the advisor, you know, you mentioned that they would sort of be helping them, on the 4 pathways, like making sure they're covering the 4 pathways or making sure they're, you know, thinking about what their, you know, deep interests might be and things like that. And I'm just wondering, like, is that something that the advisors are getting sort of like direct, you know, instruction about, like, this is what you should cover this week in advisory, or has there been, I don't know, even like PD around like what they should be doing? Like, I'm just curious about that section.
So in the upper school, I've been working specifically with the freshman and the sophomore advisors, and it's more than me modeling what exploration portfolio needs to look like and asking advisors if you can please check in with your students, and they all have shared with them the links to each student portfolio. And so this last week we've been a bit more intentional about, okay, advisors, this is our rubric, so to speak. This is our checklist, and every student needs to meet these checks before the end of the school year. And so but as far as having a systemized program about, here's, you know, learning profiles, and this is how I want you to do this is a lesson, there's not anything.
But I mean, like, if I, like, is it, like, at this point, should every advisor have, I don't know, like, gone over something with their, you know what I mean? Is there something that should have happened that if I were to ask my kid, like, did you and your advisor do X, like, they should say yes?
say. Sophomores, okay. Their advisor should be checking in with them on their completion of their portfolio. So but I wouldn't ask your freshmen until the end of next week.
Okay, I'll wait.
It's sophomore week that I'm meeting with all the next week is freshman week. Jay.
The day that fractions head, it will never happen.
That was Monday.
It was Monday, okay.
That's great, nice to know. And I have not intentionally worked with the middle school advisories yet because they're just the 8th grade. If I see them.
Right, and I mean, I think that for the 4 pathways too, I mean, that seems like it would be something that would be, you know, kind of year round, right? Because you'd be trying to keep tabs on.
Yes.
You know, are you doing enough wellness? Are you doing enough STEM? I mean, whatever, yeah.
And in the upper school, we're actually encouraging students to identify a pathway of choice. In the middle school, we like them to say, okay, but in the upper school, we want to see their focus narrow with that. So if you keep trying things, if you want to be a generalist, please keep trying things, but to narrow it, if there is a specific area of interest, if you're applying to a tech school, showing that you took so many STEM explorations is going to be a real benefit.
Question about, so are the explorations in the transcript? Do the seniors include that in their essay? How does that get communicated to?
That's one of the evolving process with the portfolio. So
Okay.
we're in discussions with the design team right now about how will now our sophomore classes portfolios and exploration experience get communicated on their senior transcript.
Yeah.
So senior internships, it's a little line that says they have a superior position. And there's always lines that say if they participated in intern on their transcript. So now we're thinking about, well, how are we going to celebrate the exploration experience on their transcript? So that won't happen yet.
Class of 27,
So you have a couple of years to go.
Yeah, the class of 27 would be the inaugural class if the design team moves forward with that.
I think that's important because this is such a unique and powerful part of our curriculum.
Yeah.
And
we're hearing that from schools.
Yeah, so I think there's gotta be a way to communicate that.
And another question, the synopsis that the students do on their explorations, is there a criteria that, you know, how much information, what kind of imagery?
Right, there hasn't been a criteria as far as how much to write, but there is a criteria of how many explorations they need to show and demonstrate. So they need to demonstrate that they've taken 8 multi-week explorations in their freshman year, and then that builds each year. So by their sophomore year, they need to show that they have 16 multi-week explorations in their portfolio. And I want them to be creative. So especially on their homepage, because that's the first thing that any person will open and see. So let's make it stand out. So I don't want to make it too formulaic. And once they've gotten accumulated 32 in theory, multi-week explorations, that's going to be a lot for someone to read through. So to organize that information in a very succinct way is something that's kind of a work in progress for us. But they do have the criteria of that number to meet each year.
Now, does the portfolio show everything or just?
It shows the multi-week exploration, the ones that they have done a deep dive on.
How as parents can we look at what was taken over the course of the year?
Well, that's a power school issue that we would love to resolve for you.
Yeah. Beth, are students able to see that right now?
They can see most of this academic year.
So if you go in next year,
If you look at study exploration.
Yeah.
On our school, you can see, I mean, I think even we can still see that right now.
From this year, they should be able to, yeah.
I just want to ask if anybody online has any questions for Beth, because we've been talking a lot and I want to make sure you guys have a chance if you have questions. You can just speak up. Okay.
Mr. Foreman, I'm sorry that I have to run to another meeting. Thank you for allowing me to attend. I look forward to working with the executive committee and partnering with the FA next fall. Thank you all for your support and hard work. Beth, great work. And then Tara, it's been a little hard to hear. Will you be able to share these slides after?
Yes,
we have them, so we can just share them.
Okay, very good. And please encourage people to email me if they have any questions if they weren't able to do the presentation.
Well, and I want to thank you because one of the big things for me has been, what does it look like? So having the sample on there, even if we didn't even get the beautiful finished product, it was nice to see what it's supposed to look like, or even what in process it looks like when they're working on it, because I had no clue. No visual on that.
And apparently she was working on it. That's
in addition to the responses from the colleges, because I know that's a question when I've spoken to parents, they've said, well, who in these colleges is really going to take the time to open something like this? And you know, where are you going to actually put that in your application that they're going to, especially when you talk to some of the college admissions officers who say, we only have, I don't know, 5 minutes on an application, and you're like, what? You know, how are they going to take?
Showcase like a top 4 or top 5, right? That or STEM or something. If you're gonna go be an engineer, that's nice. And be like, look, this is what I was doing at my school, you know.
And I think too, it would really come into play if there was like a decision, if the school is really trying to decide between 3 or 4 candidates. And having that extra little on the top of the
Internships, the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
This much work.
Well, I also like that there is not a formula, because in the same way that the kids write an essay that should make them stand out, right? I mean, this should make them stand out as you want me.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know if I can do all the right things. I'll let you do that. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming. So as we wrap up, I just want to remind you that we have the volunteer coffee next Wednesday, same time, out on the front lawn, that we have the spring family dinner on May 8th. And Amanda, I don't know if you want to say anything. I know that won't really affect families necessarily, but if you want to talk a little bit about staff appreciation, just to let folks know what we will be doing for.
Yeah, so, we did it at the fall, for the finals week. And we're gonna do it again for finals week for the spring semester. And if anybody would like to help, it's a lot of fun and it's super easy. We get stuff donated from the parents and that sort of thing, and we set it up in the morning for the staff to come in and have snacks throughout the day, and they're super, super grateful. It just fills your heart. And then, you know, we go back in the afternoon and restock anything. We do it in the for the upper school and then middle school as well, in their teacher lounge. And it's just really, it's really nice. And we did a little raffle for the teachers to take home poinsettias, but this year we'll, you know, for spring, we'll do something a little bit more spring. But if you are interested in helping, I would love the help. And you can reach out.
And that is during finals.
Finals,
Specifically, just so you.
yeah.
Are you thinking of posting a sign up for that, or do you want us to just?
Just reach out to me, right? Yeah. Cause we'll do a sign up for the snacks and stuff, right? Yeah, but yeah, if you wanna reach out to me, that'd be great. How am I doing that? Yeah. Yeah, so do you wanna put my email address or? Okay, we're chatting about everybody here.
Oh, in the meeting, yeah, in a minute.
In a minute, yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Yeah. I do want to check. Yes, I'll go look up for, okay, okay.
All right, well, I want to thank everybody once again for coming this morning. And for those of you online, thank you for joining us. Appreciate all of you, and hopefully we will see you next week. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Actually, out of town.
Yeah.
It's just directly, and then I think it's number 2, his name is Ron.
And something for those of you who are still here, because I forgot to mention it. We are, the exec committee was gonna walk over to, Ms. Carlson's. Anybody wants to mark on the community from Zayat while you're here? She has a great one, advisory start, so if you have a few minutes and can walk over there, you can put your mark on it, we'll say it. Yes. So it's spread out.